Having a dark counterpart to Prime Warframes seems awesome, but it's also worrying. Excalibur Umbra is set to be released this year with the Sacrifice Quest, after having been delayed for so long. Going off information that DE has given us, we only know two things to be certain about Umbra in general. First off, there will be more than one Umbra Warframe. Much like how Excalibur's Codex entry declares him to be the first, Excalibur Umbra will similarly be the first in the Umbra lineage of Warframes. This means that DE has decided to devote development resources into creating more Umbra frames over time, in addition to regular content updates like they've always done. Since creating additional Umbra frames over time after Excalibur Umbra is now a goal for DE, it's possible that this may result in regular content updates being slowed down, especially given that most of the job openings that DE currently offers are for marketing, not for design. At the very least, Excalibur Umbra will be the only Umbra Warframe to be featured in his own quest, as a way to introduce the idea and acquisition method of Umbra, however it may be done. Also, since Umbra is confirmed to be obtained in its own unique way, it's also possible that Umbra frames could be released alongside or outside the Prime Access schedule, rather than having an alternating release format with Prime Warframes. Secondly, Umbra Warframes will feature their own stats and polarities. Polarities aren't much of a concern as they can always be hammered out with a few forma. Having different stats from even a Prime Warframe is, however, from what has been shared from the Chinese version of Warframe, an unranked Excalibur Umbra's base stats are identical to Excalibur Prime's, except for energy capacity, which is 50 higher than Prime. I assume that our version of Excalibur Umbra will feature different stats from the Chinese version, because otherwise, this makes no fucking sense from a design standpoint. If the goal of Umbra is to be a special series of Warframes that is not a direct upgrade like Prime Warframes are, why give it stats that are actually better than the founder-exclusive Excalibur Prime? Doing so creates three problems. The first problem is that now you've effectively given an upgraded and reskinned Excalibur Prime to every player in the game. This means that while players might then shut the fuck up about not having Excalibur Prime, founders who have been promised that Excalibur Prime will never return get snubbed by DE. Sure, this technically doesn't break the promise of Excalibur Prime not returning, but it's still sort of a dick move, because that results in the exclusive Excalibur Prime becoming worse than a non-exclusive version of Excalibur. In other words, this would turn Excalibur Prime into even more of a trinket from an era of Warframe that has been long gone. The second problem is that this results in Umbra Warframes not becoming special, which is the supposed goal of Umbra. Allowing Umbra to have better stats over Prime means that Umbra essentially becomes a reskin of a reskin, with higher numbers and a different method of grinding. If DE meant that Umbra frames will have their own special method of farming to obtain, I would actually be fine with that. I'd very much rather be introduced to a new layer of grind in order to get Excalibur Umbra or any other Umbra frame than be given a free upgrade to Excalibur Prime. The last problem is that this would potentially fuck over Prime Access. Assuming that Umbra Warframes are obtained in a unique manner and thus are not tradable, this would mean that Prime parts would be worth for nothing other than Mastery rank. What would be the point of buying a Prime Warframe and modding it up if a stronger alternative that you don't have to pay for exists in the game? Introducing a freely obtained upgrade over Primes would be a hilariously bad decision to make, because not only would it lower the sale of Prime Access, but also because DE would essentially be shooting themselves in the foot by doing so. I hope that's not the case, because the last time something this level of stupid came from DE was when the HEMA was released. Thank you for watching.